top of the morning to you and welcome to Business Focus, where we turn the spotlight on the pulse of commerce and enterprise. I am Maria Adozakari, your anchor. In each episode, we'll bring you insightful interviews with in-depth analysis of market dynamics and profiles of businesses that are making waves. We'll embark on a journey into the world of business, exploring the trends, strategies, and innovations shaping industries both locally and globally. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an investor, or simply curious about the ever-evolving landscape of commerce, this program is tailored for you. Let's sharpen our focus on what drives economies, empowers communities, and fuels innovation. Welcome to Business Focus. On today's episode, we'll be talking about saving the Naira for a second time. Just before then, let's take a quick look at the stock and commodity markets. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We'll be taking a look at the stock market now. Let's see what's in the stock market for today. We have the highest trades and the highest rate. Top on the list, there is Zenith Bank with 58 trades at the volume of 2.441 at the value of 81.775 million. Second on the list is Unity Bank at 48 trades at the volume of 16.509 at the value of 27.619. Third on the list is Mercure. Mercure has 42 trades at the volume of 1.335 million and the value of 11,000.063. Let's look at the top gainers. The top gainers for today, there is Unity Bank. Unity Bank is top on the list with 10+%, and second on the list is RC Briscoe. RC Briscoe has 10% also. Third on the list is Dark Communication. Dark Communication, there is also 10%. Let's look at the bottom losers. The bottom losers for today. There is Silicon at negative 7.56%. Prestige comes next at negative 7.55%. And International Breweries at negative 5.56%. Let's take a look at the commodity market now. The commodity prices for today. The commodity prices for today, there is precious metals. Let's start with precious metals at 0.23%. And palladium comes next at 0.14%. Platinum is next with negative 0.16. And then we'll look at the next commodity. The next commodity, we have natural gas. We have natural gas at the top, Henry Hub at negative 0.86%. Ethanol next with 0.05% positive. Heating oil at negative 1.38%. Let's take a look at the next commodity. The next commodity are the top performers. And as you can see, the agricultural produce are always the top performers. There is auto on the top of the list at 3.42%, and cotton comes next at 3.03%, and coffee is third on the list at 1.59%. Let's look at the next commodity for today. The next commodity for today, there is industrial metals. Industrial metals, there is aluminium at the top of the list at negative 1.57%, and lead is second at negative 1.19%, and iron ore is third on the list at positive 0.22%. And then we have agricultural produce. The agriculture for cotton is top on the list at 3.03%. Also second on the list at 3.42%, and lumber is third at 1.01% positive. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back for our interview segment. Stay tuned. welcome back to Business Focus. We are here with Mr. Wale Joshua to discuss on saving the Naira. Good morning, Mr. Joshua, and welcome to Business Focus.
Good morning, and nice having me today.
Nice to have you back again.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at the Naira. The Naira goes up, the Naira goes down, the Naira goes up, the Naira goes down. It's sort of
like
funny.
It will not come down again.
So what do you think about the trend, the fluctuations in the Naira?
Well, the fluctuation has not been easy for businesses. It has been challenging and difficult to manage the effect of the fluctuation. So we are looking up to the government officials. We are looking up to ourselves to turn in a good and better leaf so that we can bring down the fluctuation and enjoy our businesses better.
Amen. Amen to that. So what are the factors, Mr. Joshua, contributing to the recent weakening of the Naira in both official and unofficial markets?
Well, we have a lot of factors contributing to that. And one of it, the critical factor contributing to that is our habit. We depend mostly on imported commodities, imported products. And to cap it all, most of all these services are being monetized. When I mean most of all these services, I mean the software services, the ones that didn't pass through the custom territory itself before we consume it. They are increasingly being costlier. So we have a lot of factors. We depend, as Nigerians, we have the appetite for foreign goods, consuming foreign goods. So that's the critical aspect of it. Other aspects are the speculative aspect. We as citizens, we as Nigerians, we speculate on what the price of foreign currency will be before we either save or we transact. So speculative purpose, we hold money. One of the reasons why we hold money is for speculative purpose, to make speculative purposes. So another factor affecting dollar increase in devaluation of currency, Nigerian naira, is the speculative aspect of it. Another one is the government's intervention. Some people believe that government has not been doing as much as it's expected of it to do on the fiscal policy and on the monetary policy. So we are looking forward to the government to turn a good leaf as far the foreign and fiscal policies, so that it will boost the value of naira. But whether we like it or not, if our trade balance is not favorable to Nigeria, it will not. The value of naira will keep diminishing. And what we are in Nigeria is agriculture-based country. We based our income on foreign FDI, foreign direct investments, on agriculture. Apart from agriculture, we have mineral resources, part of which is crude oil. So the agricultural aspect of our income currently is suffering from challenges of insecurities. So we have that. And we have the mining sector. The mining sector, which is the mineral sector, is equally suffering from the effect of insecurity. Insecurity as to pipeline vandalization and the militancy, both at where the solid mineral extraction is being active, and the value chain of the of the solid mineral resources income. So we've seen situations where mineral resources are being sold at prices lower than half of international market rates. We've seen conditions where mineral resources are being sold as low as giveaway prices. So those are the factors affecting naira. Those are the factors contributing to fall in the value of naira. Then, as of sometimes last year, the gap between the value of the naira and exchange rates to other currency was being held tight to a price. It was being held tight to something close to 300 naira or 400 naira thereabout. So this gave a kind of wider gap between the official market rate and the black market rate. So creating a room for selfish interests. When I mean selfish interests is you take your dollar to the official rate, you take your naira to official rate, get dollar at a favorable price, go back to the black market, sell it at the price you want. You become a millionaire overnight. So that's that. So we have a lot of factors contributing to the fall in naira rate and fall in the value of naira, and in compared to relative to other currency. So we need to do more as citizens, and government equally has to do more on its fiscal and monetary policies.
Okay, so can you make clear and put in clear terms the situation of the foreign market as regards to Nigerian naira? That's the currency.
The situation now is that we need more naira to buy more foreign currency. We have few currencies that naira is better off than. We have a lot of currencies which we need much naira to pursue that. And we equally have to look at the interest rate, the production rate, and the volume of naira in circulation. So those are the considerations we need to look at. The trade element of it is very, 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 very important to boost the value of naira. So that's the situation for now.
That's the situation for now. So should Nigerians, should they be scared of the future that's looking forward? Should Nigerians be afraid of the situation of the currency?
Yes, Nigeria should be afraid of the situation of the currency, if I will be truthful on this, because we are not producing as we ought to. Yes, the non-oil exports to oil exports improved of recent, but at what rate is it improving? Apart from at what rate is it improving, is it that we kept the oil production at a below capacity level so as to make it so as to relatively be lower than non-oil exports? If that is the case, that means we still need to do more on the oil exports while doing much more on the non-oil sector, so that we will be better off at both ends. But for now, I will tell you that we need to improve our trade. We need to improve our appetite for foreign products. If I were to advise the government, I would tell the government to look into most agencies, parastatals, and boards that we have. See one of those boards that can stay between the custom and Nigeria and importers of products into Nigeria. If we have that product in Nigeria, we don't need to import it. Why not have a kind of bank of products that we have in Nigeria, products that we can produce in Aba, products that we can produce elsewhere, so that I, as a trader, I, as an artisan, I, as a plastic manufacturer, I, as a meteorological engineer, I can tell the board, this is what I can do. When somebody wants to import, the board will interview that person. The board will interrogate that person. Why do you need to import when we produce in Nigeria? Why don't you go to XYZ Limited? Why don't you go to ABC Limited? Get your product from them. If you can get it in Nigeria, why importing them? If you can get toothpick in Nigeria. Why importing them? Are we short of plastic manufacturing industry? Are we short of wood processing industry? No, we are not short of those companies, but the board needs to stay at the middle. Tell us the standard that you want. Tell us the quality that you want. And we relate that with artisans, we relate that with manufacturers. They bring it to the board, and the board will middleman that process, sell it to whoever wants to import. We've saved the naira at that point. So why not bring that kind of initiative on board for trade? Apart from that, why I said that the situation is scary is that even when we produce at optimum in Nigeria, it will be in a slow pace to cover up the gap that we have. We have a gap of $1 to almost 130 naira as of today black market. If that's the case, before we reverse it to 1,000, from 1,000 to 500, from 500 to 200, from 200 to, let's say, 10 naira or 1 to 1, it will take us a kind of effort. It will take us a good effort before we get there. That is why it is scary. A way to cover up that is that we need to borrow our way out. Borrow our way out in the sense that we have shortage of dollar. The reason why I kept using dollar is that dollar is, and it's the international currency that we know, international trade currency. So the best comparison is the dollar. So is it that we borrow our way out? We borrow our way out, bring in much dollar into Nigeria, and then use the production, the productive capacity of Nigeria to settle the debt while we work hard on our gaps of insecurity, gaps of slow rate of production, gap of appetite for foreign products. So we bring in efforts to caution that, as in to bring it to the low ebb. But at that point, we need to borrow our way out of it. But borrowing our way out of it, we see another end, which is the fiscal policy. Has fiscal policy been able to help us in terms of borrowing? Yes, we've made a lot of borrowing. Those borrowings are enough to have cushioned the effects of increase in dollar. But still, the appetite of government for foreign products came in. We could see the import of a lot of vehicles, which are foreign brands into Nigeria. We have other things that were imported. What do we do with our hard-earned dollar? What do we do? What did we do in making sure that our hard-earned dollar stays in Nigeria? It doesn't make good sense to borrow from foreign countries, multilateral organizations, bilateral organizations, and then squander it back on imported goods, spend it back on imported goods. Another thing we use our foreign currency to finance is corruption. Corruption. We use our hard-earned dollar to finance corruption. When we get this when we get this money, a chunk of it is being saved abroad. A chunk of it is being saved in foreign currency, kept in a lot of houses and banks. So what do we do on this? It's always better we ensure that even when we have a kind of tolerance, our tolerance for corruption is not as high as what is expected. Because in some countries, if you are caught in corruption cases, you'll be executed. So that aside, if our tolerance for corruption is not as high as those nations, why don't we keep our corruption within the country? What I mean by keeping the corruption within the country is that if you, by any chance, made ways to the till box, and you've taken it, fine, make it stay in Nigeria. Don't fly it abroad. So that's a way. That's a way to keep our corruption. Yes, let it be kept in Nigeria. So not that you exchange it to dollar, to US dollar, and you fly it abroad. We'll be suffering double jeopardy in that case. because you are converting it to foreign currency, you are flying it abroad. It's putting pressure on our naira. Apart from that, we are suffering from what you've taken, collective wealth that you've taken. So why not keep it within the country, spend it in the country for the good of the country? The only problem that we may face is that only you will take the profit, only you will take the share. But I always tell people that even if only one man takes the share, only one man cannot exist for more than certain years. So the property will still come back to Nigerians as a nation, whether as a lineage or as individual person. But when it has been flown abroad, it has been flown forever and ever until when it comes back as repatriation of loot. So that's my own point about that.
You know, the Buhari administration kept talking about ABUJA wealth abroad, and ABUJA has been dead for quite a while now.
Yeah.
It's sad. So we'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. You stay with us. Naira. And Mr. Joshua, how significant is the 0.43% decline in the Naira's value against the dollar in the parallel market? And what implication does that have on traders and the general public?
Well, the implication is there to see. The reason being that it tells on the inflation, it tells on the commodity price, it tells on services price. As a nation, we depend much on imported goods. If we are depending much on imported goods, the prices of that 0.64 that you are talking about is being added to the cost of this material, to the cost of these goods. So whether you are a business entity, whether you are a private entity, whether you are a biological entity, that's human being, you feel the effect of this 0.43%. Apart from that 0.43%, effect of that 0.43%, we have the inflation rate still waiting for us there. So when we look at exchange rate difference, increase in exchange rates, we should know that it's the common man that bears the effect. It is the nation that bears the effect of this this increase in foreign currency costs. So the effect is there for us to see. Go to the markets last week. The price you get your commodity will be different from what you get your commodity price this week, and it will be different from what you should be prepared for changes in price in the next 2 weeks, because nothing is stable as of today. All commodity prices are expected to increase at any point in time. So when you are going to the market, you put the original costs, what you have on mind, in one pocket, and you put the fund of the inflation rate, the funds to cover the exchange rates, the funds to cover whatever the price change will be. You go with two expectations. Is either you meet it at that price or you meet it at an increased price. If you are going to meet it at an increased price, who bears the cost? Is it not? It's still you. It's still the buyers that bears the cost. Whether it's due to inflation rates, which is the purchasing power, or it's due to exchange rates, which is the value of naira to dollar. It doesn't matter. It is still the buyers that bears the consequences. So where do we stay? What do we do? And quite unfortunate, it's a kind of measure of performance of governance. So it's always good that the government should come in through its fiscal and monetary policy. And when we are talking about the fiscal policy, it has to do with the habits of people in government, because fiscal policy has to do with what we budgeted for, what we are producing, what is our tax policy. All these are added together to form fiscal policy. If our fiscal policy is bad, the monetary policy alone cannot bear the weight of poor fiscal policy. If the monetary policy is weak, the fiscal policy cannot bear the weight of the monetary policy alone. So we need to balance the two together. Those are the tools that can be used in fighting the exchange rate abnormalities and as well as the inflation rate. Quite unfortunate, exchange rate and the inflation rate serve as measure of performance of any government in power, because whether we like it or not, the index at which the Obasanjo era met and left us will be used in measuring his own efforts within his own period of staying in governance. Likewise, applicable to other regimes. It's not out of place if anybody refers to this particular regime as being responsible for the increase in dollar, increase in exchange rate, and increase in inflation rate, but not knowing that there are the last regime actually applied some precautionary measures which were enough to hold the effects of exchange rates and inflation rates for the period at which they stayed in office. Around January, the last regime was about removing subsidy, which would have been, the effect will have been felt as at that January and going forward. It wouldn't have been this particular regime that would bear the cost of that effect. So coming on board, this regime said that subsidy is gone, and subsidy was to the winds. Subsidy, when subsidy was there, was enough to hold the value of the currency as at a cap, plus the differentials between the official and parallel market. The official market was kept at a cap, so it didn't go beyond that. So we couldn't see the effect, the market effect of what we were into then, up until when we now got to this regime, and this regime removed subsidy. Apart from removing subsidy, the currency, we went into forex float. The forex float allowed market forces to play, and the subsidy allowed market forces to play. So the effect of the market forces was now felt. Our laziness, our lack of productivity was now laid to bear. So we now need to roll up our sleeves and go back to work. If we are going back to work, government needs to provide a good infrastructure. Government needs to provide a good security. So everything is still at the doorstep of the government, and a lot needs to be done. When you're listening to most of the foreign seminars, foreign appointments that our president have been going of recent, you see sincerity in trying to bring investors' confidence into Nigerian economy, so that they can bring much of foreign currency into it, which I believe will play a good factor very soon, very, very soon. Because the more they bring in their foreign currency, the better for the value of our naira. And I pray that when they are coming, they are not coming with their portfolio of investment. What I mean by portfolio investment is that what you can take in, invest it. When you are about to leave, maybe in 1 or 2 years, you pick up your portfolio of dollars and you are off the country. We will be looking forward to investment. We'll be looking forward to quality investment in the oil sector, investment in the steel sector, investment in the mineral extraction sector, investment in our refineries, and investment in many other things. We got our investment on railway, but insecurity will not allow us to make good use of it.
So we're talking about how to celebrate the naira still. Is there any indication of the government of the government's intervention at stabilizing the naira in the foreign exchange market?
Yeah, there are a lot of policies that are in place which are to improve the value of our currency. One of those policies, making sure that we are conservative in our expenditure, national expenditure, making sure that the crude production is well secured, not vandalized. Likewise, the mineral extraction industry is well protected. In the life of this current administration, this administration is just barely less than 7 months old. So we need to give them a little time to work on reducing the import rate and improving the export drive. So we have some policies on ground that are meant to promote that. One of which is the free trade zone. Free trade zone ensures that exports will be taken outside Nigeria rather than production being consumed in Nigeria.